Good Monday morning to you. You know, I hear all the time, I'm not smart enough. I'm not talented enough. I'm not gifted enough. I'm not spiritual enough. I'm not outgoing enough. I'm not attractive enough, or any number of things you think you're not. But the root of each one of those is rooted in I'm not good enough. Period. It's one of Satan's favorite deceptions to hold you hostage to a life that is less than what God has called you to do. I'm not good enough is a lie that keeps God's best from many of us. I have a friend that I admire and I really look up to. He's a great Bible teacher. In my eyes, he has everything that I hope to be as a speaker. He has the perfect deep voice. It's that deep bass voice, and it's not my whiny tenor voice. He lives in the perfect home. He has the perfect job. His kids are sweet. His wife is perfect. His dog never has an accident in the house. His kids succeed in everything that they do. But you see, that's not really the case. I sat with him one morning. We had a lengthy conversation about life. He doesn't think that he has a good speaking voice. In fact, he hates to hear his voice. He doesn't think he's a good speaker at all. He thinks he says things all the wrong way. His home, that I think is perfect, still requires upkeep. His job's not always perfect. His kids are not always sweet. His wife is not always perfect. His dog had an accident that morning in the hall, and he stepped in on his way to get coffee. His daughter spent an entire year working to achieve a goal to find out that it wasn't going to work out the way she wanted it to. Wait, I thought his life was perfect. But why did I think that? First of all, I only chose to see all the things in a perfect light about him. Then I let doubt creep in about me and started telling myself that I could never be that good. I became my own worst critic. Like many of you, we become our own worst critic. Then we compare ourselves to all the perfect lives that people put on social media, and that allows doubt to creep in. We compare what we want to do in life to what others do, and we try to be like them, not like what God wants us to be. Let me repeat that. We try to be like somebody else and not what God wants us to be. See, you don't have to be perfect. We can go in the Bible and find this out really quickly. Noah was a drunk. Abraham was too old. Jacob was a deceiver. Joseph was abused. Moses had a stuttering problem. Gideon was afraid. Samson had long hair and was a womanizer. Rahab was a prostitute. David was an adulterer and a murderer. Jonah ran from God. Peter denied Christ. Martha worried about everything. Zacchaeus is way too small. Paul persecuted Christians. And the list could go on. No one in the Bible, by today's standards, was enough. Without God, we'll never be enough. And when we take him out of the equation, then that's when we see things go awry. I have a friend that says, when I take over from God, it usually messes things up. Without God, we are sinful, wretched, incapable people. We are incapable of doing nothing good. But Philippians 4:19 says that my God will supply every need of yours according to his riches and glory. God uses us in our weaknesses. In 2 Corinthians 12:9 it says, but he said to me, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will boast all the more gladly of my weaknesses, so that the power of Christ may rest upon me. I think everybody has the thought that they're not good enough. And sometimes we let that get in the way of what God's calling us to do. This week, I want to challenge you to let God take what you think is your weakness and turn it into a strength that can be used for his honor and his glory. I hope each of you has a great week.